Beluga whale. The beluga is basically the ocean's living smile, wrapped in pure white skin. Adults are completely white, almost glowing against dark Arctic waters, though they're born gray and slowly fade over their first 5 years. They're one of the smallest whales, reaching about 13 to 20 feet long. But what they lack in size, they make up for in personality. Belugas are called Arctic canaries because they're the most vocal whales on Earth, producing clicks, whistles, and chirps that sound like an underwater bird choir. Unlike most whales, they can actually turn their heads thanks to unfused neck vertebrae, giving them a flexibility that makes them look curious and playful. They use echolocation so precise it can detect fish buried under sand, and they live in social pods of 10 to 25 individuals, sometimes merging into groups of hundreds. But life in the Arctic is getting harder. Melting ice reduces their habitat, noise pollution disrupts their echolocation, and some get trapped when ice freezes too fast. Still, their expressive faces and constant chatter make them one of the most unforgettable whales you'll ever encounter. Narwhal. A spiral tusk breaks through Arctic ice. Not a horn, not a weapon. A tooth that grew into a legend. The narwhal is the ocean's unicorn, carrying a single twisted tusk that can reach over 10 feet long. That tusk is actually a canine tooth loaded with around 10 million nerve endings, making it one of the most sensitive organs in the animal kingdom. Males use it to sense water temperature, salinity, and pressure, basically turning a tooth into a high-tech environmental sensor. The tusk might also play a role in attracting mates or establishing dominance, though scientists are still piecing together the full story. Narwhals are mottled gray-brown with white bellies, and they can dive over 5,000 feet deep, holding their breath for 25 minutes while hunting fish and squid in total darkness. They live only in Arctic waters and have never survived in captivity, making them one of the rarest whales to study or even photograph underwater. Climate change is eliminating the sea ice they depend on for protection, and increased shipping brings noise that disrupts their navigation. In medieval Europe, people believed narwhal tusks were unicorn horns and sold them for fortunes. The mystery remains. Orca, killer whale. The name sounds like a warning. But here's the truth. There's never been a confirmed wild orca attack on a human. Ever. These black and white hunters are actually the largest members of the dolphin family, reaching up to 32 feet long and weighing around 6 tons. They're apex predators with no natural enemies, hunting in coordinated family pods that stay together for life. What makes orcas truly remarkable is their culture. Different populations eat completely different prey. Some only fish, others specialize in seals, and some even hunt other whales. They teach their young specific hunting techniques passed down through generations, like creating waves to knock seals off ice, or beaching themselves to grab prey from shore. Each pod has its own unique dialect, basically a family language that scientists can identify just by listening. Females can live 50 to 80 years and enter menopause, something almost no other animals do. But their intelligence comes with a cost. Captivity causes documented trauma, collapsed dorsal fins, and shortened lifespans. In the wild, declining salmon populations are starving fish-eating pods, and ocean noise disrupts their ability to hunt and communicate. Orcas aren't killers. They're families trying to survive in a changing ocean. Bottlenose dolphin. The bottlenose dolphin is the ocean's genius problem solver. These sleek gray swimmers, usually around 10 to 14 feet long, have brains so advanced they can recognize themselves in mirrors, something only a handful of species can do. They actually name each other using signature whistles, unique sounds that work like individual call signs within their pod. What really sets them apart is tool use. Some dolphins carry marine sponges on their beaks to protect themselves while foraging along the rocky seafloor, a learned behavior passed down from mothers to daughters across generations. They sleep with half their brain at a time, keeping one eye open and one half alert so they can surface to breathe and watch for predators. Their echolocation clicks can reach frequencies between 20 and 150 kilohertz, allowing them to build mental maps of their surroundings in complete darkness. Bottlenose dolphins live in coastal waters worldwide, but that proximity to humans brings serious risks. Fishing nets trap and drown them. Habitat loss destroys their feeding grounds, and the captivity industry still pulls them from the wild. Despite this, they remain one of the most recognized marine animals on Earth, featured in everything from ancient Greek art to modern military operations. Sperm whale. A click echoes through water so deep, no light has reached it in millions of years. The sperm whale is hunting in total darkness. This is the largest toothed predator on Earth, with males reaching 50 to 60 feet long and weighing up to 45 tons. Their massive square head makes up about 1/3 of their entire body length, filled with a waxy substance called spermaceti that scientists still don't fully understand. It might help with buoyancy, focus their sonar like a lens, or even work as a battering ram. What we do know is that sperm whales are the deepest diving mammals, plunging over 7,000 feet down and holding their breath for 90 minutes while hunting giant squid in the abyss. They're also the loudest animals on the planet, producing clicks that reach 230 decibels, loud enough to vibrate your body and potentially stun their prey. Their wrinkled skin is covered in circular scars from giant squid sucker rings, proof of battles fought in complete darkness. Ship strikes and entanglement in deep-sea fishing gear kill them regularly, and ocean noise disrupts the echolocation they depend on to survive. Sperm whales were hunted nearly to extinction for their oil, the inspiration behind Moby Dick, and a reminder of how close we came to losing them forever. Humpback whale. The humpback whale is the ocean's composer and acrobat combined. Male humpbacks sing complex songs that can last 10 to 20 minutes, repeating them for hours on end. These songs evolve each breeding season and actually spread across entire ocean basins, like viral music trends, with whales on opposite sides of the world, eventually singing the same melody. Humpbacks grow 40 to 50 feet long and weigh around 40 tons, but what makes them instantly recognizable are their extraordinarily long pectoral fins, reaching up to 16 feet, about 1/3 of their body length. They're famous for breaching, launching their entire body out of the water in displays that scientists still don't fully understand. When feeding, they use a technique called bubble net feeding, blowing spiraling curtains of bubbles to trap schools of fish, then surging upward through the center with mouths wide open. Their knobbly heads and fins are covered in barnacles, giving each whale a unique appearance. Humpbacks migrate up to 16,000 miles annually, breeding in warm tropical waters and feeding in cold polar regions rich with krill. Ship strikes during migration and entanglement in fishing gear are constant threats, but humpbacks have been documented doing something remarkable: intervening when orcas attack seals or even other whale species, a rare example of cross-species protection. Gray whale. The gray whale makes the longest migration of any mammal on Earth, a 12,000-mile round trip between Arctic feeding grounds and the warm lagoons of Baja California, Mexico. These 40 to 50-foot whales are covered in barnacles and whale lice, giving them a mottled gray appearance that looks almost crusted over. Unlike most whales that feed in open water, gray whales are bottom feeders. They roll onto their sides, suck up sediment from the ocean floor, and filter out tiny crustaceans through their baleen plates, leaving behind distinctive pits in the seafloor. They have no dorsal fin, just a series of bumpy ridges along their backs. What makes gray whales truly unusual is their behavior toward humans. In their breeding lagoons, mothers actually bring their calves close to boats, allowing people to touch them, earning them the nickname friendly whales. This is almost unheard of among large whales. Calves stay close to shore during the long migration north, avoiding orcas that hunt in deeper water. Entanglement in fishing gear along the migration route, ship strikes near busy ports, and declining Arctic food sources threatened their survival. Gray whales were hunted to near extinction twice, but recovered both times, making them one of the few conservation success stories in whale history. Minke whale. The minke whale is the smallest baleen whale, and that size actually saved its life. Reaching only 20 to 30 feet long, about half the size of a humpback, minkes were initially too small to be profitable targets for commercial whalers. They only became heavily hunted after larger whale populations were decimated, making them survivors of an industry that destroyed most of their relatives. Minkes have sleek, streamlined bodies with sharply pointed heads and a distinctive curved dorsal fin set far back on their bodies. They're fast swimmers, reaching speeds up to 24 miles per hour, and they prefer traveling alone or in pairs rather than large groups. A bright white band across each pectoral fin makes them easy to identify when they surface. Minkes are found worldwide, from coastal waters to the open ocean, adapting to nearly every marine environment. Despite their survival through the worst of commercial whaling, minkes are still hunted today by Norway, Iceland, and Japan, often under controversial scientific research permits. They're also hit by ships and caught in fishing gear regularly. Because they're so elusive and tend to avoid boats, minke whales remain one of the least studied large whales, their behavior and population numbers still wrapped in mystery. Right whale. They called them right whales because they were the right ones to kill. Slow swimmers, they floated when dead and were packed with oil, making them perfect targets for whalers who nearly erased them from the ocean. Today, the North Atlantic right whale is the most endangered whale on Earth, with only around 350 individuals left, pushing them toward functional extinction without serious intervention. These stocky whales grow 45 to 55 feet long, with massive heads that make up about 1/4 of their total body length. They have no dorsal fin, just a smooth black back that rolls through the surface. What makes each right whale unique are the callosities, rough white patches of thickened skin covered in whale lice that create patterns as individual as fingerprints. Their arched jawline holds baleen plates up to 8 feet long, which they use to filter tiny copepods from the water. Right whales are painfully slow, cruising at only 6 miles per hour, and they reproduce slowly, with females giving birth only every 3 to 5 years. Ship strikes kill them regularly, because major shipping lanes cross directly through their feeding grounds. Fishing gear entanglement scars about 85% of the population. Warming waters are pushing their food sources away. Every single death is tracked, mourned, and studied as the species teeters on the edge. Bowhead whale. A whale surfaces in Arctic waters carrying a harpoon fragment from the 1880s still embedded in its flesh. The bowhead whale is the oldest living mammal on Earth, with confirmed individuals over 211 years old, and some scientists believing they might live past 250 years. These stocky whales grow 50 to 60 feet long with massive triangular heads specifically designed for breaking through Arctic ice, up to 2 feet thick just to breathe. They have the thickest blubber of any animal, sometimes reaching 20 inches deep, insulating them against water cold enough to kill most creatures in minutes. Their baleen plates are the longest of any whale, stretching up to 15 feet, and allowing them to filter tiny zooplankton from freezing water. Bowheads never leave ice-filled Arctic waters, perfectly adapted to a world most whales avoid entirely. Like humpbacks, they sing complex songs that change and evolve, though scientists have studied them far less. Climate change is reducing the sea ice that once protected them from ship traffic and orca attacks, and oil and gas development is spreading across their habitat. Indigenous Inuit communities have hunted bowheads sustainably for thousands of years, a practice that remains culturally vital and carefully monitored. Scientists now study bowhead cells, hoping to unlock secrets of their extraordinary longevity for human aging research. Fin whale. The fin whale is the second largest animal ever to exist, and it's also the fastest. Reaching 60 to 80 feet long and weighing up to 80 tons, Fin whales are built like greyhounds, sleek and streamlined for speed. They can hit 25 miles per hour, making them the fastest baleen whale in the ocean. What makes them truly strange is their asymmetrical coloring. The right side of their lower jaw is bright white, while the left side is dark gray, a pattern unique among whales. Scientists believe they might use this to their advantage when hunting, rolling onto their side and flashing the white jaw to disorient and corral schools of fish. Fin whales have a distinctive chevron pattern behind their heads and can dive over 600 feet deep, though they also feed near the surface. Their calls are among the loudest and lowest of any animal, traveling hundreds of miles underwater at frequencies so deep humans can barely hear them. During the Cold War, their calls were so powerful they interfered with submarine sonar. Fin whales were the second most hunted species during commercial whaling, killed by the hundreds of thousands. Ship strikes remain a constant threat because their speed makes collisions catastrophic, and climate change is shifting the krill populations they depend on. Blue whale. The blue whale is the largest animal that has ever lived. Bigger than any dinosaur. Bigger than anything. These giants can reach up to 100 feet long and weigh around 200 tons, with females growing even larger than males. Their heart is the size of a small car. Their arteries are wide enough for a human child to crawl through, and their tongue alone weighs as much as an elephant. Blue whales eat up to 4 tons of krill every single day, filtering tiny shrimp-like animals through baleen plates while gulping massive amounts of water. They produce the loudest sound of any animal, calls reaching 188 decibels that can be heard over 1,000 miles away through the ocean. These calls are so low in frequency that humans feel them more than hear them. Blue whales migrate thousands of miles between polar feeding grounds, rich with krill, and tropical breeding areas where they give birth. Newborn calves are already 23 feet long and gain 200 pounds per day drinking milk that's 50% fat. By the 1960s, whaling reduced their population from around 350,000 to just 400 individuals. Today, between 10,000 and 25,000 exist, still endangered. Ship strikes kill them. Ocean noise drowns out their calls so they can't find mates, and climate change disrupts krill populations. Most people will never see one despite their size. They represent the absolute limit of what Earth can physically support. If you want to see more species explained, click video on screen now and subscribe.